You know what's crazy?
That I still wake up every day.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. Explain.
No, that's it. My fingers hurt. You know what I mean? Calluses all over my fingertips. My mind is, this close to snapping.
I'm starting to think this is not the best way to go. Hold on 1 second. Okay, this is good. From what? There's so much going on, like, it could be one of a million different things.
Just a call of everything. Let's go with that.
Okay. Which unload on me. Get it out.
No, I'm not really freaking out at all.
Okay.
You set me up too good. It was there. I had to take.
Oh shit.
What's crazy? Dumb.
So, I don't even know where to begin, to be honest. You know, I've been telling you for a minute, right? That, I've been questioning why we're doing what we're doing. And I don't mean the mayorship. I mean, this other business.
Yeah.
While, and I think the best way that I can put it is that I accepted this as a consequence for it being an alternative path for, you know, for justice to be served.
Sure.
And I'm not seeing that happening. And I'm going to expand a little further, is I get the impression that we were sold a lemon. Some of those details I don't want to get into for your own protection.
Sure.
However, I haven't really I don't really see, I don't know. I'm sort of getting disillusioned. Give me a second. Let me just let him know that I'm gonna call him back. Well, on the back of this, right? Tuesday evening, I started to crash out a little. I think between that Barrett conversation. So, and I'm gonna tell you why. Fucking after that meeting we had at the beach house, Barrett started following me.
Why?
I don't know. So I ended up making a, you know, I put some, like, blacked out. I used a payphone, and because I made a payphone, he started to follow me. And he then saw my vehicle crash. He then went and looked for my vehicle, which was way the hell away, and then proceeded to try to see where and what I was doing. After which he took photos, called me to try to confirm it was me, and sent me the photos thinking I'm having sex with somebody. Now, the long and short of it is that what he could have or would have found is irrelevant. It's the mere fact that it's once again, it's that feeling of a break-in of trust, right?
Yep.
And if he's despite, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, what the fuck, man?
I don't understand
is anyone
the following from the resort. Like, we have this long conversation about helping him accomplish what he's trying to accomplish on the docket, and then he follows you.
Exactly.
Right.
And I pressed him on that, and he did apologize, but it's more of a, you know, it's kind of like, and I asked him, like, don't you have things to do? Right?
Yeah,
and maybe somewhere in his sick head, he's trying to help. Like, be more careful. Right? But and obviously he doesn't know this, right? But he doesn't know the other headaches that we're trying to solve in parallel. So it becomes like a... So I began to crash out. And that's not the only thing. Our partner decided to get nosy. And that's where I really began to crash out.
Okay. Nosy into, if I may ask?
Yes.
In what
let's
regard?
just say he's not being considerate of my disinterest in... I think he's forgotten why I'm doing what I'm doing. I think in many ways, I don't know if he knows why he's doing what he's doing.
Okay. That makes sense. I mean,
Yep.
it doesn't make sense, but it makes sense.
Yeah. So with all that being said, right? You know, oh my Lord, what the fuck? Woo! Okay, at least that's sick. So, you know, you kind of put all those things together, and I'm just like, why the fuck are we doing this?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to see at least a body in a month. Like, is that too much to ask? Right? And you can't get a body, then what? Then what? Right?
Flood the streets isn't really like a mission. You know what I mean?
For him, perhaps, but not
But
necessarily
end,
for
right?
us. To what end? Exactly.
Right.
And so, sort of on the back of all this, I'm just like, all this shit is doing is having people kill each other and effectively justifying all the egregiousness that the DOJ has done. Right? Is where is the freedom? Right? Why is this not being? And so be it. If people don't want that, then they don't want it. That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when your business partner is trying to bring some semblance of chaos and you don't see an ounce of that, right? It once again becomes very, what the fuck?
Well, I mean, pragmatically, gang-on-gang warfare in San Andreas is not chaos. It's just Thursday. You know what I mean?
I'm not. I don't give a fuck if that's what it's being used for. It's just that's all it is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it goes back to it really goes back to, like, this is what I was crashing out on. So I calculated it like this, right? We are already taking a massive risk with the intent and hope of it being used to serve justice, right? Whatever that may have been. And now we've got marshals breathing up our ass, and we have our partner spying on us. And so when all that sort of comes to conclusion, I'm just like, you like, what do you think is going to happen here? You know what I mean? I'm just going to fucking, like, you know, I start to question whether I want to wash my hands of it, because what's the point? You know why? Like, what am I going to do with cash? What am I going to do with money? What am I going to do with this? I've had that. I've done that. I've had it all. And I know that's also not why you do this. So, Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to stop. But it's now significantly on my forefront. Because, like, if we're going to get followed off this, right? And, you know, this city's law enforcement has always looked with a significant amount of suspicion towards those that do not have a record.
Yep.
It's a suspicion of they must be up to something. Now, I'm not saying Barrett falls into that hole, but when I combine this with the way that Jason was treated in that meeting, right, it just kind of adds to it, because now all of a sudden my paranoia kicks in that it doesn't matter how we do anything. We're just a moment away, right? And is that moment worth the risk when there is nothing objectively being done that fits our desires?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I agree. Sounds like clean records are being used as RS and PC, and at the end of the day, you know, none of that is really important to me at a high level, but at the same time, it makes me second guess a lot of the way that I move. Like, this whole conversation up to this point has made me want to offload every property that I have. It makes me not want to own a vehicle. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's exactly it. Yeah. Now, I'm glad we're having this conversation, because you're starting to see perhaps why I've been so meticulous with how I've done things. Yeah. But I will tell you that our own partner began to put us into jeopardy on Tuesday, and I did confront him. And he's given me insurances, right? But the problem is, it now comes down to, do I actually believe in those insurances? People can say what they want, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I'll be honest. You say Tuesday, my red flag went off when we're handing over 8 briefcases full of cash and grabbing rifle bodies in a hotel parking lot. You know what I mean?
A hotel parking lot. Oh, did we give him cash that day, by the way?
Yeah, we had 8 briefcases full.
Okay, well, apparently he didn't get them that day.
Sounds like it's not our problem.
Okay, we did give it. That's what I thought.
Absolutely. They were in the back of the vehicle.
Oh, my God.
We moved them to the back of the truck, and we took the bodies.
Brother.
I remember.
Because he was saying that we didn't give him any cash. I'm like, that's only the one time.
No, not a shot. Not a shot.
Okay.
I remember we pulled up to the lobby, and I was like, this is fucking dumb. Right in the middle of the fucking city.
Okay. Regardless, not that I give a fuck. Like, what is that? Like, you know, at most, and 300s are pretty, like, what is it? Whatever. It's like 2 million, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, means to an end, right? Now, don't get me wrong. Some of our partners have been pretty good about it, but it just kind of adds to it, right? I don't. Here's the reality of the matter, right? Yeah. If there is not a reason and a purpose, whatever. There might be some things changing, by the way. Other things might be making their way through, SMG specifically. And with that is going to come a plan to make way for these things. But
my mind immediately goes to
how is anyone going to do it?
Exactly, but not even that, right? Not even the actual manufacturing and distribution. It's getting the fucking materials, dude.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, there's not enough. I did bring this up to them. I mean, I believe we'll probably, in a reality, let's say we walked away from all this, right? If we were to walk away from this, and it hasn't gotten to that yet, right? But that's like a real conversation I'm starting to have with our partner, which is like, listen, you're going to either need to, if someone else ends up doing this, you're going to have to break the material cost down by like to a quarter of what it is. Just to keep up. Because there's no, because look, I'll tell you right now, metrically, from what I know, 90% of what's being used is coming from us.
Yep.
Nobody's really using deagles. Shotguns are pretty rare. And this is not the, and even with the amount of volume that is coming out from us, the streets aren't satiated, right? You saw Manx's order. I didn't tell you yet. He wants 4. No, you do. You did see it. KJ wants 40 MK1s and 20 tacs. Now, can we get those? Sure, right? But
we just delivered to him, didn't we?
We did with Manx, or minus the handful. But like, we can get KJ probably over the weekend. Yeah. But good. There's the shout out. All right. The way I'm like dicing it up is, how the fuck, in what world are people still needing more?
Yeah.
How much did we push out? 600 in a week? Yeah. Right? Is that accurate?
Yeah.
When was SK's drop? It was a week ago, no?
I think you did it Tuesday, didn't you? It was Monday or Tuesday.
Wait, really?
Yeah, dude. We whipped together Manx's order in the last 36 hours.
No.
All we had was the AK2s.
Wait, so SK, wait, are you sure SK was on Tuesday?
It was earlier this week, yeah.
Wait, so that's less than a week then?
Yeah. We've gone through like 180,000 mats in the last 3 days. You remember we were up good, and then I think that night I let you know we're empty.
Can you total the last amount? Like, wait, hold on, let me see. Like SK, Flippy, all that. What's the total?
Manx was what in total? 50, 120, right?
I'm sorry?
Do you remember what Flippy's order? Oh, here it is. Hold on.
I love this boat so much.
So Manx, Flippy, SK, and KJ, 435.
I'm sorry?
Manx, Flippy, SK, and KJ in total was 435, which is 542,880 materials.
Oh my God. Now, putting that into perspective, that's in what, a week?
Yeah.
Let's keep on with the mats. I think, hopefully, and this is what... Oh, wait, what about Speedy? Did you put that on there?
I got Speedy, yeah.
So it's 400 what?
435.
435. That's insane.
And that was... We took those first orders.
So we're talking in 5 days. Then.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
So basically 100,000 mats a day, give or take, 10K.
Yeah. Oof. So with all this money movement, with all this stuff, with all the drops, with, Marshall's just being sus of everything surrounding us for God knows what reason, with our own partner, just not delivering. Like I said, I began to crash out, and it's only getting a little bit worse. There is a reality where people I care about are being targeted. And now, don't get me wrong, I'm a little less suspicious of that happening now, but it sort of creates this strange dichotomy, right? Where I'm not, it's not beyond me, right? That I'm not a fucking savior. I'm not. Even though there may be a bit of a savior complex going on with me, which probably kept me there for 9 months. But when I kind of compound that on everything else, it starts making me question why. What's the point, right? Why shell myself off? Why shell you off? And someone asked me a question on Tuesday, and it really got to me thinking, saying, do you have anybody? Something along those lines. And my answer to that question was, not really. And what I mean by that is, without even... And what I mean by that is, sure, I've got people, right?
Yeah.
But they can't know everything.
Yeah.
For their own good. But when you compound all of that, right? Like, even consider for a moment, Michael, how often do you feel like these problems that we know are affecting others are only being considered by us?
I think about that every day.
And so at what point do you start screaming at the wall and say, wake up, Neo, wake up, wake up, Neo, wake up. And Neo's just sleeping, wanting to stay in that poop.
It's been days, it's been months since I started doing that. Right, I'm only half joking when I say, what's crazy, I still wake up every day. I do ask myself for what, you know what I mean? There is a savior complex. We are the shield of the city in many ways. But, at some point the shield gets heavy.
Yeah.
And the challenges that you and I experienced these last 9 months, they're not very different than the challenges you and I are facing with the business. It's a lot of the same, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Where the amount of effort that you and I have to put in compounded by the amount of risk that all this carries, is not balancing out to the outcome, right?
I think going into this, we knew that not everything's going to be changed, but I think there's been very little movement. Brother, throw on like all this fucking shit we've been hearing recently about the DOJ money movement. It's sickening.
What, how low the standard is everywhere except within our office or within our circle? You know what I mean? It is sickening. You say very little movement. I argue, show me the movement. I don't even see a little movement on the streets or in the office.
Yeah.
Now listen, I get it, right? It's hard to hunt ghosts, but I want to see something.
A part of me has considered whenever that meeting happens, for the room to be opened up, walk in there, and just gun them down.
I mean, how many messages have we sent? You know what I mean?
Or maybe a bomb. You know, that would probably resolve the relationship problem right now with the partner. I think that would probably fix the relationship. Just blow up the building.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all going to be in a room. It's only DOJ and the marshals.
Yeah. Literally the root of the problem.
What if the governor's setting us up for it?
You think? Something tells me he wouldn't be in that room if he was setting it up.
Just ask him to go outside, and then all of a sudden the entire building collapses.
You know what's sad? No, I look back at who I was 9 months ago. And if I heard these words coming out of anyone's mouth, let alone yours, I'd be running for the hills. But after everything, I'm just numb to this. You know what I mean? It doesn't even cross my mind to second guess. I don't feel any guilt at all. Just numb to the idea. It's not disinterest. To me, it just is what it is. Blow up a building, okay. That's the reality.
Oh, man.
I mean, what compassion and consideration do those people deserve from me? Any?
I am looking forward to the investment firm. I've contemplated that may be the sort of meditation I need, and I think a lot of us need. We have put a system into place that makes businesses actually able to thrive, and if we can assist Grayson in helping further develop that, I think it's going to be worthwhile. And
that reminds me, you have an application waiting for you. The business is called the House of Raw.
What is that?
Rental company from Helios.
Oh, raw. I thought you meant raw. Okay,
Raw.
approved.
I'll let him know. Once I have the account, I'll let you know. He's probably going to need to submit a business subsidy. I'll let you know when that's up.
So the first property thing went up. It's got to, we want to keep advertising that. Can we get like a Twitter graphic, maybe like a, you know, like the one you got, and then we'll just start tweeting it out so that people know to go to the city website. Like it should just say, see City Hall on government website to bid.
Yep, just a quick GIF.
Yeah, exactly. Just a flat image. It doesn't have to be animated. Just I want people to know that it exists.
Yep.
Looks like a lot of people have put their name up, which is good.
Yep.
It's yeah.
Yeah, I can get it done this evening, and I'll post it up in the email chain for people to blast out.
Good shit.
Yeah.
I gotta see. What's happening? Hold on. Okay, good. I do need to see. What was I gonna say? I think most of the event subsidies are sort of sorted. Oh, it came to my attention that the chief of EMS has convinced to run alongside Tony and Grayson.
Ooh.
For Sama.
Ooh.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Wait, who's the chief of EMS?
Guinevere?
Oh,
I don't have any like crazy opinions on her. It's more I think the concern more derives from like the amount of hats. So I'm assuming and hoping that she's going to give that hat of chief of EMS to somebody else, right?
Yeah.
But then again, at the same time, I don't know how much I care.
Well, it calls to question impartiality, right? That's where I would stand on it.
Precisely. Yep.
And that's, well, I mean, you know how I feel about our own cabinet benefiting from our funding programs. I would feel the same way of this situation where the head of EMS is also an elected official that oversees the entire medical field.
It would be the equivalent to me making myself the chief of police.
Or the commissioner.
Correct. Yes.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So that sort of struck me a little oddly, mostly in the notion that it's odd that Tony and allegedly Tony and Grayson decided down that route, right? Because it's sort of, I would have thought they would have pointed something like that out, right?
Yeah, little surprising.
Yeah.
I'd want to hear their rationale. Something.
We don't even know if it's true, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I think Grayson is smart and common sense enough to have made that connection or had that thought. So I'd like to hear his rationale.
Yes. There is actually a different concern. It's not so much the rational thought, but rather the fear of Tony is Grayson is a couple levels beyond Tony in terms of political prowess, right?
Yeah.
However, he is still not. He's still new, right?
Sure.
And so for me, I think it's more I hope he is not going to fold under pressure, right? And that's the main red flag that goes up in my mind, where is he thinking he's going to lose and already succumbing to thinking he needs to band with a dasMEHDI that may ethically go against his own standard just to make sure you get what I'm saying,
Just
like
secure the win. I get it. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
like and everyone has fallen short of that so far, right? Historically, Pred fell to pressure, Princess fell to pressure, Andy fell to pressure, right? And given that there's like a history of that, where like the incessant need to, it's that's why the concern comes up. I'm not saying it will happen with Grayson, but you know, I there is that, you know, history has driven that paranoia for me, right? But like I said, I got to remind myself, I need to be more prepared to, you know, let go of the reins.
Yeah. It's gonna be hard, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I'd have to talk to Grayson about it. I want to know where his mind was. If this was a strategic decision, or what.
Yeah.
I'd want to know. He asked me to be his campaign manager. Did I tell you that?
Yes.
I have to turn him down. I'm gonna
really.
Be, I'm gonna be out of town all next week. Well, just for the day.
You know, that happened when I ran too. Didn't you come back and I was mayor again or some shit?
Yeah. I remember I took a vacation, right? It was bad timing, but it was what it was. But that was term one going into term 2. But yeah, this time we got a overseas delegation.
That is interesting.
Yeah. Don't worry, I didn't recommend Quantum to take my place.
Well, I need to, actually, I'm okay with you, carrying in on this. Forgot I got business up until, time is it 3:30? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's chop up some of the other stuff. 2 pieces of legislation are up. I haven't seen movement yet. Let me see if the judge is around. See if we can get an update on that. Maury
was at the PD meeting.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, I want to see if there was any update, movement on the legislation.
I think the what's it called? The property one. Can't remember the actual name of it right now.
Yeah.
I think that's good to go. I'll just double check, and then I think. Let me see. Still waiting on some opinions on the other one. The voting one.
They're both good to go.
The property one is. We're still waiting on some people to give their input, like either side on the voting one.
Gotcha. Easy. All right. Okay.
Yeah, the property one was easier because it's like, you know, just condensing the other stuff in.
Can that be put up just so the contest period can begin?
Yeah. Let me do that right now.
Oh! Man, the fucking difference in weather between the north and the south right now. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah. Like, I live in Toledo, and I woke up to the fucking vibrating phone weather warning, like, and then I drove down here and fucking dry as a bone.
Jesus. You'd think the clouds would move, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe it's something to do with all those, like, the chemicals that Princess is spraying to make the frogs gay or something.
Yeah, you never know. All right, well, thank you so much, Murray. I appreciate it. As soon as you know about the election one, please do let me know. We're trying to keep a close eye on it. It's pretty straightforward. We just want to make sure that there's no... this next election doesn't get... We need to fix this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the only, like for me, the only thing is, from what I've heard, is that the intent was to always, like, from the state when the Constitution got rewritten, was to have it so that, you know, you had to choose which mayor you voted for.
That is correct, but the tools don't exist, so it becomes gerrymandering, right?
Yeah.
And we've seen that very blatantly in that you may live... Like, you know what I'm saying? People will... I mean, just straight up, last election, people tried to get Letson to win, but they only wanted him to have mayor, even though they weren't from Blaine County, right?
Sure.
Like shit like that. So it becomes gerrymandering more than being representative. So until there's a way... I mean, it's all written in there, right? Like, I want Blaine to vote for Blaine. I think most people do. But with the mechanisms not being there... If I wanted, I could have been there instead of Princess. You know what I mean? Just had to clap my hands. So
we are having a meeting with a state representative on Saturday.
Oh, Saturday? Okay.
About the impeachments.
Right.
I can ask him about it then to see, like, because I can ask him, you know,
when is it? What time is it?
Saturday, 7 Eastern. It's a meeting between the marshals and the justices.
At 7 Eastern, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I can ask him, like,
oh my god,
is it possible for this mechanism to exist before the election? If not, then I think we'll probably just, you know,
easy
send it. Alright, should post it on the no squatters and slackers thing.
Easy. I appreciate that.
Alright, you take care, Nino.
You take care. Bye.
Bye.
Is there a hold up on the election one for some reason?
They are waiting for other opinions. He also stated that what do you call it? That he said they're waiting for other opinions, but they may wait to ask the governor on Saturday if there can be a mechanism or some shit like that.
Okay. Can I quickly crash out on you here?
Sure.
I need to, desperately.
It's not their job.
Now, establishing rules and procedures for elections is a core part of the governance process. And the last time I checked, the DOJ has no authority over the governance of fucking anything. Their job is to check if it's constitutional.
Yeah.
If they can't do that, you ask fuck. Like, it's no wonder I'm numb to the idea of a fucking bomb to be doing the fucking state a favor. Holy shit. Place the fucking brain cells with shrapnel and nothing would change.
Interesting.
Is it?
Yeah, it's more I'm trying to like weigh in my mind if it's ignorance or what it is, and I think it's more this side of ignorance, right? And I know this sounds like an excuse, but it's just also a part of our reality, which is ignorance can lead to having such odd positions, and it's frustrating, right?
Yeah.
But it's a thing that needs to effectively be navigated.
You know, when I was working to get Princess on board with this, another thing that she brought up, right? And I know she talked to you about this, was the decision to restrict the lifers from voting, okay? And I understand both sides of that argument, right? And my issue is not that, you know, the decision was ultimately made to restrict the lifers from voting.
Yeah.
The issue with it is that the procedure that should have been followed to make that happen is not being followed. And the procedure should be that you and Princess come together and make the decision to restrict that or give them that right. Because that is governance, right? It doesn't matter that Bolingbrook is state property. These are county elections that affect the counties.
Well, and part of that comes into what is a citizen, right?
Sure. Yes.
And there is a implicit understanding that lifers are not citizens of San Andreas, but rather they are temporarily being held here in Bolingbrook.
Sure.
But to your point is the fact that they're that it's sort of hand waved one way and then the other is the problem, right?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Is when it's not codified, you know, that lifer vote would have been the difference between Princess and Eugene.
Sure. Sure.
Right. Holy fuck! It would have actually drastically made a difference. Holy fuck! But anyways, all right. I has got to cook.
Yeah. No worries.
And oh man, today's gonna be busy.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, I got to get our mats up. That's all I can really focus on right now.
I think after that, just get as many, because who cares, right? They last like 2 months or whatever, right? And I would hopefully let's continue down the path of like nothing's gonna change.
Yeah.
And right now our next goal is like, you know, just having things sort of ready. I also think that we're now moving. We're also pretty close to having the system in a way where, you know, maybe we start to involve other makers.
Yep. Yeah, that's fair.
But that's going to start with property. We still got to solve that. Maybe a
the
trade.
reality is, let's say the front end, right? People aren't going to help what I have to get done, right?
I agree.
The state of the market for materials just is what it is, right?
Yes.
Bodies is not going to solve that problem. Other problems, sure, but not this one.
Yeah.
Give you a call later?
Yeah. You take care.
Yeah, ciao.